Hello everybody, so today I'm here to share my top 5 favourite breakfast recipes. I was going to call it top 5 easy breakfast recipes, but I'm not sure if the last two are that easy. So there's like 3 easy ones and then 2 kind of like advanced cookery. I'll be starting out with one of my favourite breakfasts when I was a child, which is semolina porridge. It's not that popular in England, but in Eastern Europe it's like all the jazz. So this is how I make my semolina porridge. I just mix 2 half a cups of semolina with 7 half a cups of soy milk. I'm using this like fancy whole wheat one, organic one, but if you use the normal one from the shop, I think it actually tastes nicer. I've just been cooking this over medium heat for like a couple of minutes. It's good to give it a whisk with a whisk because sometimes you can get little chunks in there, which I like, but some people don't. And now that it's slowly starting to thicken, we're going to start adding other ingredients. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of sugar, a little bit of vanilla extract. Ooh. Now keep in mind I'm making enough for 2 people right now, so if you're only making it for yourself, you can just half all the amounts. See, mine is quite chunky, which is what I like, but if you want to avoid this, just take a little bit of the semolina, mix it with water, and then add that to the milk. Just like with any starchy product. I like to eat mine with some summer berries. And I just fold that in. I don't want them to be completely defrosted and cooked. I like them to still be a little bit frozen, because then it is like a nice contrast to the hot porridge. And then for an extra treat, every now and then I would add a little, but okay, that was quite a lot. Well, a few chocolate chips. And it's time to serve. So the second breakfast I'm going to show you today is my favourite chocolate orange rice pudding. It's great because you can just use leftover rice that you have like sitting in the fridge or just on the counter from yesterday, but it's also very like decadent and like very special, very Instagrammable. Alright, so every time I have some leftover rice, I'll pour some soy or almond milk in overnight. You don't even have to do it overnight, like right now, I just did it now. And then you just put it over medium heat and you literally just let it cook until the rice really softens. You can just put a lid on it and then go upstairs, do your makeup. You can just put a lid on it and then let it cook on like low heat for like 10 to 15 minutes. It depends on how much rice you have and like, you know, what medium heat means on your cooker. But if you just leave it like that for a few minutes, I'll be back to update you when I start adding all the other ingredients. Alright, so at this point the rice is cooking, fun cooking. I'll just be stirring it a little bit because stirring rice actually activates the starch in it, apparently. So it's going to make it more like gloopy and, you know, all like puddingy. So I'm just be doing that. Now it's the time to add all your other ingredients, so let me pull those out. So I'll be adding some cocoa powder. This really depends on how much you like. I'm gonna add a little bit of sugar. Alright, and in another little pot here I have some blended up oranges, literally just one like medium-sized orange, blended up, and then with like a teeny bit of coconut sugar just so that it kind of caramelizes. I've got it in a little saucepan. And I'm just heating this up. It's going to help evaporate kind of the water from it and make it into more of like a sauce for the top. I've added a tiny bit of milk just because I like my rice pudding a little bit runny. Now the best part, which are like little bits of candied orange. Now let me put it in a bowl and show you how beautiful it can look. Okay, this one is like a little bit getting to the tougher ones. It is my go-to breakfast when I have time the night before, not in the morning. I basically make overnight oats and then I dump them into a baking tray, bake it, and you've got baked oatmeal. Oh wait, baked porridge in England. I'm starting out by blending up some bananas with some soy milk. The amounts really depend on how much you're making. I usually like to make mine really runny, because then once you add some of the chia seeds and oats, it's really gonna thicken up. And then I add some oats and chia seeds, about this amount, and then I just pop it in the fridge overnight. Okay, so it's the next morning. Now, I greased my pan with coconut oil, but if you have any utensils, I greased my pan with coconut oil, but if your equipment isn't from Poundland, you can skip this step. And now, you don't have to do this, but I like to do that. I'm gonna add a few chocolate chips, just because I just decided, I just bought them and I wanted to add them. Don't judge me. I feel like this is mostly just for the effect, but I like to add 2 halves, aka 1 banana. And now I'm going to put it in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. Alright, banana bread just come out of the oven. As you can see, the banana, it's still a little bit runny here. If you do want it to be more of like a banana bread consistency, just leave it in for a little bit longer. To be fair, I'm just quite hungry, so I just want to eat it now. And it tastes good already. And so I just serve it with some custard. I don't feel that bad adding anything sweet because there's no sugar in the actual porridge. So, you know, it's fine. So I was trying to come up with some savoury recipes as well because I feel like all of these are sweet and I know that not everyone's got a sweet tooth like me. And I know one of my favourite savoury breakfasts is crumbled tofu. I know that it's not that easy to make, but like once you get into the habit of making it, it's really quick. So I'm starting out with cooking up mushrooms and onions. Now that they have cooked slightly on their own, I'm going to add the tofu. I like to use about half a brick of tofu, or firm tofu, for one portion, which is about 200 grams. And I'm just going to crumble it in. I'm going to smash him. And I'm just going to let pan fry on high heat for quite a long time. I like my tofu quite crispy. I'm going to start slowly adding the spices. I add about a tablespoon of garlic powder, a little bit of turmeric just for the colour, and then my secret ingredient, which is this like Polish chicken seasoning. I pretty much put this in everything. A teaspoon of black salt. Now I'm going to add some nutritional yeast. I don't know, I don't really measure this out, it's just kind of about that amount. Then I take some of this dairy-free cheese flavoured sauce and I just add a little bit to it. Basically, the point of this is that it's got a lot of starch in it. And when you mix this with almond milk or water or anything, it creates kind of like an egg whitey look to it. So that's my secret. Then just to have some greens in it as well, I'm going to throw some spinach in. Normally I'd probably use kale, but we've got spinach right now, so we're going to use spinach. Alright, now the last one. I know it's not easy, but I love making breakfast muffins. I like making any kind of muffins, and the best thing is that you can just put whatever you want in it. If you don't have any substitutes, you can just avoid the sausage and put mushrooms in. If you don't have tofu on hand, you can use soak cashews. You know, you can change the ingredients, but the basics is that it's breakfast foods in a muffin. We have a half a brick of tofu. This is about 200 grams, and I'm going to add 1 cup of chickpeas to it. I know I should probably stick to one measurement, but you know, some things are easier to measure in cups. Some things come in packaging, they can split in half. You know how many grams it is. And I'm going to start blending this up. So depending on how well you've managed to drain your tofu, you're going to have to add some amount of some non-dairy milk. I'm using soy milk, but it really doesn't matter. You can just keep adding a little bit at a time, and then once it comes to the consistency I'll show you, then it's done. At this point, it's kind of like a fluffy, eggy consistency, so that's perfect. And while I'm making my egg mixture, I am also frying up some vegan sausages here. It depends on what your preference is, but these are, you know, objectively the best vegan sausages in the world, which are the Linda McCartney ones. These don't really stay in shape very well, as you can see, but I really don't care because we're going to stuff them into muffin trays anyways, and they taste the best, so, you know, who cares? For the seasoning, I'm adding half a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a heaping teaspoon of black salt, salt and pepper to taste, and a heaping teaspoon of nutritional yeast. I'm going to add a little bit of turmeric, but literally just a little bit. Alright, so I decided to add a little bit more nutritional yeast, So I decided to add a little bit more nutritional yeast, a little bit more black salt, and a little bit more garlic powder because I feel like I just didn't have quite enough flavour this time. And I also added a little bit more soy milk because I obviously added some ingredients, so I still want it to be quite runny. And I'm going to blend it up again. I'm just gonna oil my muffin pans because normally you'd have a non-stick one, but this one is, I'm pretty sure, from Poundland. My beloved camera totally just cut out, but what I did, I just took a tablespoon of the eggy mixture and I spooned one in each of these, and now I'm just putting the brown sausages on top of that, about 3 on each. And then again, I scoop a scoop of the eggy mixture on top of that. And now I'm just gonna quickly pop them in the preheated oven on about 200 degrees. We just want this to bake a little bit for about 10 minutes. Right, I just took these out of the oven. I think it's been about 10 minutes. I'm gonna put some baked beans on top, because what kind of breakfast muffins would they be if they didn't have baked beans on them? On top of that, I just put a little bit of grated cheese. It's vegan cheese, obviously. And these are ready to go in the oven. Now, depending on your oven, I would leave them in for about 5 to 10 minutes. You just have to keep watching them, and then you can just stick a toothpick in and see if it comes out dry. And if it does, it's ready to eat. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed my recipes. I will try to come up with some more with like lunches and dinners and stuff like that, because I have this thing, like I can't eat the same thing, like I don't know, a few days in a row. I always have to have like a varied, I don't want to say a varied diet. I always have to have very like varied meals, so I feel like I come up with a lot of recipes, maybe. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in my next video.